The orbital station's gravity generator hummed at 0.8 G, just enough to keep the blood flowing but light enough for combat efficiency. Luna checked her monofilament blade one last time, the carbon nanotube edge invisible to the naked eye, existing in a state of quantum sharpness that could slice through molecular bonds themselves. "They're coming through airlock 7, Lucas whispered through the Neuralink implant, his voice crackling with interference from the station's damaged communications array. He was 3 levels below in the reactor control room, monitoring the Ketheri boarding party through whatever sensors still functioned. 47 hostiles. Heavy combat frames. "Luna, this is suicide." She didn't respond. The mathematics were already complete in her augmented cortex. 47 targets. Corridor width, 2.3 meters. Ceiling height, 2.8 meters. Atmospheric pressure, 0.94 standard. She had mapped every ricochet angle, every blood spatter pattern, every probable trajectory before the enemy even breached the hull. The Ketheri had made their reputation across 12-star systems. They were the apex predators of humanity's expansion into the void, 6-limbed insectoid warriors whose exoskeletons could withstand small arms fire and whose reflexes operated on a neural architecture twice as fast as baseline human biology. They had never been defeated in ship-to-ship boarding actions. Not once in 43 recorded engagements. Tonight would be 44. The first Ketheri rounded the corner at 11.3 meters per second, its combat frame already tracking toward her position with targeting lasers painting geometric death across her chest. Luna moved before the photons could complete their journey to the creature's optical processors. Her blade sang through the recycled air, the monofilament edge creating a pressure wave that ionized oxygen molecules into a brief purple flash. The Ketheri's head separated from its thorax with such precision that its body took another 1.7 steps before its distributed nervous system registered termination. Luna was already past it, her enhanced muscles burning through ADP at catastrophic rates as she accelerated into the main boarding corridor. "Luna, sensors show." "Oh my God," Lucas breathed, watching through damaged cameras as she became a hurricane of calculated violence. The second and third Ketheri died before they could transmit alarm pheromones. The fourth managed to fire its plasma weapon, superheating the air to 15,000 Kelvin. But Luna had already calculated the firing solution 3 seconds before the trigger pressure reached threshold. She wasn't where the bolt screamed through space. She was behind the shooter, her blade entering the gap between armor plates at the precise angle where chitin density dropped below 40 gigapascals. The mathematics of death were beautiful in their elegance. .10 Ketheri formed a defensive phalanx, their combat doctrine adapting to the threat with admirable speed. They created overlapping fields of fire, eliminated her approach angles, locked down the corridor with a wall of armored bodies and high-energy weapons. It was textbook perfect, the kind of defense that had stopped human assaults on 17 documented occasions. Luna stopped calculating probabilities and started calculating certainties. She triggered the gravity plating beneath her feet, stolen access codes allowing her to create a 0.2-second pulse of 3.2 g downward acceleration. The Ketheri, with their different mass distribution and center of gravity, staggered. In that fractional moment of disorientation, she was among them. Her blade moved through compound trajectories that would require quantum computers to fully model. Each strike was optimized not just for the current target, but for the positioning of the next 3, creating a cascade of tactical opportunities that unfolded like falling dominoes. The monofilament edge separated carbon chains and shattered molecular structures with such minimal energy loss that the blade never even warmed in her hand. 23 down, Lucas reported, his voice tight with disbelief. "Luna, they're calling for reinforcements. The entire Ketheri assault fleet is repositioning. They're afraid." Good, she thought, but didn't waste breath on vocalization. Fear was a weapon more effective than any blade. The remaining Ketheri tried to retreat, their tactical algorithms finally recognizing an unwinnable scenario. Luna couldn't allow that. Witnesses who escaped could adapt, could warn others, could develop countermeasures. The mathematics of warfare demanded totality. She pursued them through the station's curved corridors, her enhanced cardiovascular system delivering oxygen at 4 times baseline efficiency. The Ketheri were fast, but she was inevitable. One by one, they fell, their ichor painting abstract art across bulkheads that had once been white. The last Ketheri commander tried to negotiate, its translator device stuttering through human languages. It offered terms, treaties, technology exchanges. Luna listened to exactly 3.7 seconds of its proposal before her blade found the vocal organ equivalent. Silence was her only acceptable treaty. 47. Lucas whispered when she finally returned to his position. His eyes were wide, tracking between her blood-spattered form and the security monitors showing corridors full of bodies. You didn't miss. Not once. How? Luna finally allowed herself to speak, her voice hoarse from combat breathing. I computed every possible future before I moved. In every timeline I could calculate, my blade struck true. She looked at him, her augmented eyes still running probability matrices. They came to our station believing themselves superior. Now they know what humanity really is when we stop holding back. Hours later, when the human relief fleet arrived, they found something unprecedented. A Ketheri assault force completely eliminated by a single defender. The alien bodies told a story of such overwhelming martial superiority that it fundamentally altered the balance of power in 3 sectors. But the fleet commanders noted something else in their reports. When they interviewed survivors from the Ketheri fleet monitoring the assault, they discovered that the aliens had stopped saying her name. They had a word for her now in their language, a title that translated roughly as the blade that cuts through probability itself. They would not speak it aloud. Some fears were too primal for vocalization. Lucas stood beside Luna as they watched the relief fleet establish security perimeters. They'll want to study you, he said quietly. Document how you did it. She shook her head, finally allowing her combat augments to power down, feeling the familiar ache of muscles pushed past their safety limits. Let them wonder. Fear of the unknown is more powerful than fear of the understood. In the void beyond the station, the Ketheri fleet retreated to safe distance, their tactical computers already flagging human stations as high-risk targets. The mathematics of conquest had shifted in a single night, and in 100 alien ships, warriors who had never known defeat whispered warnings to each other about the human female whose blade had not missed once, whose name they would not speak, whose existence proved that humanity had been holding back something terrible in their expansion to the stars. Luna cleaned her blade with methodical precision. The monofilament edge still perfect, still quantum sharp, still hungry. She was ready for them. To learn that lesson again, as many times as necessary.